Thanks, Ben. I do have a loud voice, so I'll push this away a bit. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm delighted to be here to tell you about Over the Wall and about a wonderful opportunity for both our organisations to work together for a camp next year. You will notice something that's startlingly obvious. Paul Newman and I could be twins. I look remarkably like him. And that's one of the qualities that you need to work for Over the Wall. Paul started the charity 3 decades ago because camps in America are a rite of passage for most kids. But what Paul realised was there wasn't very much in the way of camps for people with serious health conditions. So he started the first camp in Connecticut called the Over the Wall, Through the Wall camp. And that was the first one. There are now 30-odd camps around the world dedicated to helping bring fun and joy to young people with serious health conditions. In UK, we're unlike other camps in that we don't have our own camp. We don't have a purpose building for that. That's part of our strategy for the future. So currently, we're a peripatetic organisation. We're a bit like a travelling circus in that we pack everything up into a big container truck from our offices in Havant, and then we ship out to a whole variety of locations across the country, set up camp, welcome all of our amazing young campers to camp. They have a thrilling time, and then we pack up, we move back, we repack, and then we move out again. And this year we're doing that 15 times across the country at these locations. We call it a camp, but it's really not tents. We use pretty swish accommodation. Sometimes it's public schools, sometimes it's other activity sites that are specifically built for young people to do outdoor activities. We have a couple of overriding principles. The first principle is that we take fun really seriously. So very much about what we do, make sure that camp is safe. We want our young people to turn up not as the kid with the illness, but as a very special person in their own right. And we kind of want them to leave the health condition at the door and just be normal. We want them to be defined by their ambition and not their condition. And so we thrive on positivity. You can see a slide there, and I'll give you explanations and some examples as I go on about how we do this. But the kids would never know 90 to 95% of the stuff that we do. We've put a huge amount of effort into assessing people's physical, psychosocial situation. We spend a lot of time talking to parents before the kids actually come to camp so that we know all about that camp, so that we can focus on them as a unique individual. There are lots of organisations that run activity camps. We are slightly different to that because it's not just an activity camp. We spend a lot of time training our volunteers, and we might take 100 volunteers to camp so that on our health challenge camps it's almost 1-to-1. So they get to know that camper and they spend 6 days and 5 nights with that camper. And from the moment they come to camp, it's about being positive. It's about recognising what they can do, not about what they can't do. They're not different. We specifically manufacture all of our activities so that all of our campers can do them. And for some, that's the first time in their life they've been in an environment like this. And we know that just by coming to camp for even a weekend family camp, people go away and we can demonstrate that they improve their confidence, their self-esteem, their willingness to try new things, their ability to make friends, their social skills. And we have lots of evidence that helps us support that we're achieving those aims and those outcomes. And we work in partnership with a number of organisations. This year we're working with Crohn's and Colitis, Anthony Nolan, Anaphylaxis UK and others to run camps specifically for people with those health challenges. When we run our own camps, people come with all sorts of different conditions. And we're delighted to say next year in October we're running a camp specifically for DEBRA, and it will be just for families with young people with EB. And the good news is all of our camps are free to everyone. We don't charge anything. So I think I've got one of the best jobs in the world because it's my job to come here and give you stuff for free. I'll say that again. It's my job to give you stuff for free. I'm not asking for anything. So we run 3 different types of camps. We run a camp for young people who are aged 8 to 17 who have a health challenge. Now, there are some health challenges that we can't accept. These are quite high activity camps. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of singing and dancing and face painting. So if young people have got difficulty with transition or need low stimulation, then unfortunately this is not the environment for them. But we want everybody to come to camp that can join in everything. We won't run an activity where 8 of the campers can do it and there's somebody sitting on the sideline. That's not how we work. Everyone does everything. And that camp is 6 days and 5 nights, without the parents, just the kids. And for 60 or 70 campers, we might take up to 60 or 70 adult volunteers. We have about 10 staff, and we might also have about 8 to 10 doctors and nurses who are on site 24/7, giving them all the necessary medication and treatment that they need. We try to demedicalise everything. We don't call them medical staff. We call them the beach hut. They're dressed in hula hoops, Hawaiian shirts and dresses and things because we demedicalise everything so that the kids are there just to have fun. We take fun pretty seriously. So seriously, in fact, that we, for the past 3 years, we've been graded as outstanding by Ofsted. We also run camps for siblings, often with the best will in the world, having a young person in the family who has got a serious health challenge. Sometimes the healthy siblings kind of miss out, and we recognise that. So we want to give them the same experience as the young person with the health challenge. And we run the same camp at the same time for their siblings, so they can be seen as amazing, unique individuals in their own right, and not just the brother or sister of the sick kid. And finally, we run family camps. And this is the opportunity for the whole family to come and join us from a Friday afternoon through to a Sunday. And it sounds a very short period of time, but there's amazing activities that happen during that 2 days. They get a volunteer or two allocated to the family, and the relationship that they have is just amazing. So to give you an example, they'll turn up, we'll allocate the volunteer. I often make a joke about saying, this is your volunteer for the weekend. If you want a cup of tea or anything done, just ask them. This is not about you doing anything, this is about us looking after you. Sometimes the adults will do activities separate to the young people, and we'll look after the young people in age-appropriate activities. And so it could be that the parents need some respite in the evening, so we've organised a neck and shoulder massage for them whilst their young kids are being looked after by the volunteer they've gotten to know, and they're doing activities. It could be a quiz, it could be magic, it could be a whole range of things. And then there will be some outdoor activities where the whole family get a chance to do desk slides and climbing and canoeing and stuff as a whole family. Many people often say this is the first time, particularly dads, mums, without being kind of sexist, I think it's a generalisation, mums seem to talk a lot about stuff, dads not so much. And our experience of doing camps specifically for people with the same condition is that dads come along, start talking to other blokes in an environment that feels okay, and start opening up and seeing about other people's experience. A camp I was at last year, we had the dads turn up. Within a matter of hours, the young people were giving the parents a challenge. The dads failed miserably. So the next day, the dads were in fancy dress singing I'm a Little Teapot to all of the camp at lunch. It gives the ability for the siblings to take part in activities too, and one-to-one. One of the things that we tell our volunteers is it's not good enough to say to somebody, that's brilliant, that's well done. That's not good enough. What we train our volunteers to do is to name the thing. So we'll say to our volunteers, for example, if you see a young camper who's cheering on the friend on the climbing wall, then how about saying something like, do you know what? Susie, I saw you cheering on Sophie and she was halfway up and your cheering really helped her get to the top. And do you know what? That makes you a kind person. And that's the kind of stuff that we do all weekend for every camper, all of the time. And for some people, this is the first time that they've had genuine and authentic positive reinforcement all of the time. And it's transformative to people. Their confidence swells, they start to believe in themselves. It's not about over the wall. It's not about the activities. It's about the potential that they have to be amazing people in their own right. Some of the quotes in the next few slides really just give you an indication of what some of the families said last year. Attending camp has shown us that we can enjoy life to the full and have lots of fun. Sometimes our camps are a bit retro. We dissuade parents using mobile phones and stuff. We can't stop them, we kind of dissuade them. But when we do our young persons camps, we don't allow mobile phones or any electronic devices. And often some of the teenagers will say, do you know what, I'm really not looking forward to camp because I can't take my mobile phone. We ask them at the end and say, what was the best thing about camp? Not taking my mobile phone. Because we play all sorts of games. We talk to each other. We don't communicate through the internet. This is a kind of difficult to read slide for people at the back and for me at the front because I can't see the slides from my glasses. But from memory, what people say to us is that they enjoy spending time with other people. They enjoy spending time being able to talk to other parents. They enjoy the ability to take a little bit of time out of their life to relate to people with the same conditions in their families. This is an overriding theme for Over the Wall. It's all about what we can do and not what we cannot do. The thing that makes us very different to any other activity camp, apart from just using positive reinforcement most of the time, is we're founded on the principle of therapeutic recreation. In essence, what that kind of means is we want you to be a little bit uncomfortable at camp. We want you to come to camp and try new things. That new thing for you might be climbing a high wall, or it might be canoeing, or it might be swimming. But for somebody else, it might just be talking to their small group of friends. And we want them to be slightly anxious, because if they are, they feel as if they've achieved something, and we name it and we reinforce that so that it succeed. And we will always find a way of reinforcing to people that they've succeeded. It won't be, oh, you only got halfway up the wall, unlucky. It's, you're amazing, you got halfway up the wall and I knew you were petrified beforehand, so that's an amazing thing that you did. So we challenge people. We praise success authentically and genuinely, and then we build in time to reflect on that. We do it ad hoc throughout the day. We could be standing at the dining queue with a young camper who did something special in the morning, and we kind of gently remind them. We do that on purpose, but they don't know that we're doing it. And then there's a really special event in the evening we call Cabin Chat, where the volunteers and the young campers sit down and they reflect on the day. And the campers very quickly get this, and they start to reward and reinforce other campers. So they start to say nice things about each other. It's infectious. It's amazing. And the discovery bit could happen at camp, but often it takes a little while longer. And that's the point where people reflect on the amazing things they've done. And they think, do you know what? I can do that. I can climb a wall, which might mean that I'm courageous, which might mean, you know, I can overcome this challenge at school, or I can deal with the people who were giving me a hard time at school, or I can do something in the real world that I never used to before. So often people will come, and part of our purpose is for people to try new things and share them. Talking to other people. Lunch is a great thing. We encourage everybody to have lunch together and dinner together because people genuinely talk. It's spontaneous. There's no facilitation required. But often when we do a partnership camp, there will be pre-programmed activities whereby the parents can come together and talk about set things, or there are certain activities that our partner charity would like to do with the parents that we can facilitate. This was at a camp recently. It's actually at Whitemore Lakes, where our camp is going to be next year. And this is the parents kind of having a quiz in the evening. All of the campers are all doing other things with their volunteers. Even if people go through difficult times or experiences, it's important to realise that there are people in a similar situation, and it's also important to rely on the strength of our family as well as the support of the charities, whatever needed. These are all quotes taken from our families last year. Realistically, when was the last time that you and your whole family spent 48 hours together without being interrupted or without work being on your minds? Maybe a little hard to read. In essence, this says that 100% of our campers and families were 100% satisfied with the staff and volunteers, about their attitude, about their knowledge, about their willingness to help them, about their friendliness. there's often tears even after 2 days. One of the magical things we do at family camp is we have a closing ceremony. We have taken photographs all weekend, and we invite the volunteers to come down with the families. You get an example here. And the volunteer will read out a card that they've written to the family, and they will write something personal that they've observed or witnessed or experienced over the weekend about each member of the family, and invite the family down to hear that. There's often lots of hugs and cheers and stuff as well. They'll do a bit of a camp dance, and then every other family takes their turn. So it's really all about authentically and genuinely recognising how amazing people are and have been over the weekend. And it can be a pretty emotional, happy emotional time for some. When we ask people, how did you feel before coming to camp? All of the routine stuff is there. Anxious, nervous, a little bit excited, unsure, angry, tired. After 48 hours, proud, relaxed, happy, confident, not alone. I'm happy to answer any questions. I will be available over lunch outside on a stand to answer any detailed questions. There's some leaflets there for you, and I have some sheets, contact sheets. We will publicise the dates of our camp, 16th to 18th of October next year, on our website. We will open up for applications around October this year. But if you want us to proactively reach out to you, please put your name and contact numbers on the sheets on the over-the-wall desk outside. And then when we open up camps, we will email you and let you know about that opportunity for you.